Hello, I'm going to be presenting to you some slides to show you how to use the L and R blends when reading with your child. So hopefully you've seen the video that accompanies this as I went through and reviewed the sounds that the blends make. Remember that a blend is not a digraph. A digraph has it's two letters that make one sound. The blends have each of the letters has a distinct sound, but they're blended together. We have 2-letter blends, and some of these are 3-letter blends. So let's go through and take a look at the slides. So the first blend is BR, which is br. Remember, you don't want to have that additional vowel sound at the end, any type of schwa that's similar to the U sound, So br, br. So the first word we're going to use is brag. So it's br, and this line indicates that we're making this sound with the 2 letters, br, ag, brag. The next one is cr, cr. Here we go. Crop. Crop. When you're doing this with your child, you can do this whenever you do a 3-part drill where we're doing each of the 3 sounds, the beginning, the middle, and the final sound. You just want to be careful when you are doing any type of drill like that you preview the cards. As we're going through this, in this particular video, I've given you real words. When I do this with the students, we'll oftentimes have syllables or word parts that are nonsense words. So they might not have an actual word that accompanies them. But as I've worked with the students, I've told them that these may be syllables to other words that they may come across when they are reading larger words. But as you're doing it, you can use your imagination and think of the kinds of words that you might come up that you wouldn't want the students to be having a conversation about. So just think carefully about the word choice that you have when these come up. The next one is dr, dr. And for here we have drum. Or as we've talked about before, this is an onset and rhyme or a word family. Drum, drum. Fr, og, frog. Now you may think to yourself, for an example, a word like from. When you do that word, we would pronounce that as So from is a sight word that has that schwa sound in the middle, even though it uses an O there. So if you do this with your child, you may come across words that are like that. So you could point that out. Oh, if this has an M on it, we know that's the sight word from, but if we were to pronounce it as we would with our O here, it would be So that's a word that doesn't quite follow the rules, but you would want to practice saying and recognize that it is also a sight word that doesn't follow that pattern, because we want the students to be able to decode and use those sounds to help them with larger words, as I had stated before. Gr, ip, grip. So think about the 2 ways that you can do it, each sound by themselves or as an onset and rhyme or word family. Prep, prep. Trip, trip. Here we have 3 consonants, strum. And as I stated before, I asked the students if those are real words or nonsense words. If they are real words, see if they can identify what the words mean. If they don't know what it means, please, by all means, give examples. For example, this is strum. You could talk about how you strum a guitar. Shrub, shrub. I added that to it. Thr, 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 ob, throb. Spr, sprig, sprig. Now this looks like spring, but it's actually sprig. So you could talk about how a sprig is a small piece of something, like a small piece of a plant, for example. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Now we're getting into our L blends. Bull, bull. Now I'm not saying blah, blah. Remember, it's bull. Make sure that you have that short sound at the end, that you're not adding on that vowel sound. Blip, blip. That's one that they might not be familiar with, but a blip is something like just something that happens in a short amount of time. Clap, clap. Make sure they could even clap out the sounds for this. Clap. Full, flag, flag. Glad, glad. Pull, plug, plug. Sled, sled. And here we come into our 3 consonants again. Spool, splat, splat. That's a fun one. So that's the end of our words that we have in this file. You can practice these with your child. I'm going to attach it to I will attach the slides with this so you can practice these at home, but I encourage you to get those cards out. I'm also attaching another set of cards that have been updated with these blends and other letters that we're going to be reviewing or have reviewed in the past, some new lessons. So I encourage you to get these out and practice them with your child.